Alright, so Billy Talent's 2009 album, Billy Talent 3, punk, rock. So starting straight away with Devil on My Shoulder, it's a big punch in the face which says, we are Billy Talent and this is what we are doing. So you get the usual Billy Talent brand of punk rock, but with a strong, heavy rock edge to it as well. So this is predominantly the bass guitar is lower and darker and just more prominent. And then the guitar on top has a far more classic hard rock edge about it as well. So this kind of style continues throughout the album. It's mainly heard in things like Definition of Destiny, which is a shorter, sharper kind of take on it. But the main one is The Dead Don't Testify. So again, starting with a very low, dark bass riff, which continues throughout the tune, but then you're just hit with a wall of sound. A very dark kind of tune, but very powerful kind of tune. Apart from this, there is moments in the album that are more emo, emotional. Billy Talent showing that yes, they've grown up, but they're still doing the same kind of thing they always done. So you hear that in songs like Rusted from the Rain, Saint Veronica, Diamonds on a Landmine. Diamonds on a Landmine is very reminiscent of Roxanne by the Police. Or it's got very reminiscent guitar work of Roxanne by the Police. Apart from this, Pocket Full of Dreams is like a classic Billy Talent tune that you would expect from the old days of the first album, showing you that this is exactly the same Billy Talent you've always known and loved, but with this album in general showing more of an aging, like they've grown a bit of girth about them, and they've got this new heavier sound about them, and they're putting that to good use. So the singer Benjamin Kowalewicz is still singing like he always did. He's got that very unique voice, and he has some brilliant backing vocals behind him. So sometimes screamed, sometimes chanted, always complimenting his voice very well. The guitar, like I say, seems to have taken on a more classic rock kind of vibe about it, but of course is just stronger with that. The bass guitar is the big player on this album. From the start to the finish is always just so powerful, lower and darker. This is some of the best bass guitar work I've ever heard. It is absolutely fantastic from start to finish. The drummer's always fun. He's not overly technical. He's not a flashy kind of drummer, but he is still interesting. Things like on Dead Can't Testify having an offbeat hi-hat click going. I think it is the same tune actually, and it's probably a couple times throughout the album he's wave riding, so holding the beat on a cymbal during a verse, and obviously that gives the verse a bit more bite that you'd usually hear in the chorus. But it's interesting to hear him with his style doing that kind of thing and showing there's a bit more vigour in this verse here. And then when you come to the chorus, he might take it down a bit, which is always interesting. So this album's, it's with the classic rock kind of influence. It's bringing in listeners from classic rock fans listening to this and saying, actually, this is really good. They're not usually a fan of this kind of thing, but with the kind of classic rock influence on this album, they're hearing something they quite like, and they're hearing Billy Talent do it in their style and in their own inflection on the genre, and it's coming off very well. Overall, this album, the last three tunes aren't quite as strong as what comes before them, but even then, they're still brilliant tunes, and I only mean that in the sense of this album is always up to 11, and the last three tunes are just 10, simple 10s, you know, as if that's an insult. They're still fantastic tunes. So overall, just bearing that in mind, I'd say that this album isn't quite as strong as the masterpiece of Billy Talent 2, but this is still an incredibly strong album. I cannot believe I held off listening to this album for 13 years, but finally I've heard it and I'm so glad I have. What an album it is. It's fantastic, and I would definitely recommend it to just about everyone. Like I say, being able to talk to the generation of yore and then be interested in this is fantastic. So, brilliant album. Till next time, take it easy.